Hey everybody, this is Trevor Jag here with Salt City Drum Smokers and Drum Smoker TV. Right here we have we got a pork belly here that we're going to cook today. So I'm kind of going to walk you through the steps that I take to get this ready to go on the smoker. All right. So first we're going to start on the skin side. We need to get this skin layer off from here because this pork belly does have the skin still on it. So I'm just gonna try to get underneath it here so we can get it peeled off. This is probably the hardest part of this. Just getting the skin started and getting it out of here. So there's a layer here, it's right in between the skin. It's a fat layer, and you just kind of run your knife here underneath it, and it fouls it pretty dang nicely. At least on that side it does. So sometimes you can get these without the skin on them. They've already taken it off. Just depends on where you're buying it at. Unfortunately, these ones still have the skin on them. Got a little deep right there. That's all right. The skin's not going to allow any smoke or any flavor to really go through it, so that's kind of why I like to take them off. But you can kind of see how I got this thing started here, and I'll just continue working it, and then I'll be right back after I have it done. Hey everybody, we're back. It took me about 5 minutes or so since I left the video to get this kind of peeled off. Yeah, I would recommend finding some pork belly that's already got it off, because it's kind of a pain in the butt getting it off, but we got it. And now we're just gonna kind of trim it up. We're just gonna shape it here, get some of these odd stuff out. Like this side is pretty thin right here. So we're gonna take, and there's a lot of fat on there too. So we're just gonna take that and run it down, the knife down, and square this thing up. See, look at all that fat right there. So that stuff, we'll get that out of there. And all these little folders here. Flip it back over and do this side here. There we go. So that's what I'm looking for right there. Okay, we take it over here. Kind of look at what we got going on here. She's still pretty thin down at this end right here, but I think that'll be all right. A lot of fat right there. But still, I don't know, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna take it back over onto this side. I'm gonna score this thing to help render some of this fat out of it. Okay. So there we go. We got it trimmed up. There's not a whole lot to these. Like I said, it's just the hardest part is getting that skin off. And I just recommend buying one without one if you can find it. So sometimes you can't. And this week I couldn't find one, so without the skin. But yeah, so we kind of cut this up so it can render out some of the fat in it. And we can get some seasoning down in it and all that kind of nice stuff. So now that we got it trimmed up, we're gonna use some yellow mustard, and we're gonna use some Hay Grill Hay sweet rub. It's got a real nice balance on it. It's got some brown sugar in it, some nice spices and everything like that. But it's got some nice back end heat. I really, you know, for a sweet rub, it might be a tad bit on the spicier side, but you're not, at the end of your cook, you're not gonna get a whole lot of that spice. It's just enough. It's pretty, once a meat's cooked, it's pretty balanced, to be honest with you. So I really like this stuff, and give it a try. Okay, so we're just gonna put a little bit of mustard on it. Binder here. I'm gonna take off one of my gloves so I got a clean hand. And then I'm just gonna cover this thing. Use it pretty liberal. Yeah. The other thing with this rub too is just the texture elements of it. It's got that small and some coarse grade seasonings and spices in it. It really gives it a nice textual element. Okay, so I'm gonna call that good for this side. Take it, flip it over, take a little bit more mustard. There's a binder here. Rub that in. This one, we got this, and this one, we put them in the refrigerators. We buy usually these things by the case because I also do some bacon with it. But this one had a little bit of a hole in the cryovac, so it's got a little bit of discoloration. There's nothing wrong with the meat or anything like that. It's still good, but that's kind of why I'm smoking this one and not using it as bacon. So just apply the rub to this side. Get this thing nice and covered. And I like it. That looks good there. So if you do get a pork butt, something I didn't touch on, or not a pork butt, but a pork belly, and it has the skin on, and you don't really want to mess with it. Another thing you can do, just cook it with it on there for a few hours, and that skin will actually separate, and you'll just be able to peel it right off. And then you can kind of put some seasoning back on that side. It's probably, I don't know, it might not stick, but yeah, that's always an option to do, is just kind of cook it with it on there and just peel it off, you know, halfway through your cook or at the end. So what we're gonna do now is I'm just gonna let this thing, I'm gonna set it aside for a couple hours and let this rub sweat into the meat and everything like that. And the next time you see us, we'll be out at the smoker getting the smoker ready to go and getting this bad boy on. So, all right. Hey everybody, we're back. We got that pork belly that we trimmed up earlier, and we're just about ready to get it up on the smoker there, that Salt City drum smoker. As you can see, the rub kind of sweated out into it. Looks nice and juicy and everything like that. So we're gonna run this thing a little on the hot side today. We're gonna run it for about 2 hours at about 325 degrees, and then we'll go ahead and wrap it. So open this thing up, and we're just gonna put this thing right here in the center. We're gonna put it so that the skin side is down, even though the skin has been removed, and we're just gonna let this go. I forgot to tell you, we are cooking with 2 chunks of pecan today and 2 chunks of cherry wood that are in the fire basket. So we just got this pork belly pulled, and we pulled it at about 2.5 hours into the cook right now, and you can kind of see the color. At the 2-hour mark, it was just a tad bit on the light side, so I took it another 30 minutes to kind of darken it up. So what we have here is we have some of the Hay Grill Hay sweet rub, and then we have some brown sugar, and then we have some agave. So we're gonna take this thing, we're still gonna put it skin side down in there, and then we are going to take, and I'm gonna take a little bit more of the Hay Grill Hay sweet rub, just a light coat right on top of it. And then I'm gonna take a little brown sugar here, sprinkle that on, and then a little agave. Okay. So now that is ready to wrap up, and then we're gonna put a little bit of apple juice in here, but I wanna get this wrapped up before I do that. Leave a little opening there. We're going to take about a half cup, 3/4 of a cup of apple juice. Thanks for the help there, Kim. And we're going to rotate that. Repeat the process. Want to make sure it's nice and tight so you're not steaming your food here. You want to cook it, not steam it. And now it is ready to go back onto the smoker for about another 2 hours. All right, so we got the pork belly on the smoker, and we are about ready to pull it, I think. So let's open up this thing, take a peek here, and see if it's done. So you can see some poke marks already in it. But I'm checking the temperature, I'm checking the feel. You want butter. You don't want, see how there's just a little bit, it goes in nice, there's just a little bit of resistance in it. That's what I'm looking for right there. So I am gonna pull this thing because it is done. We are going to unveil this right here. So like I said, it feels like butter. We're going to take this thing and see how it's just kind of melting in my hand here. We're gonna take it and we're gonna shred it up because pork belly tacos are on the menu tonight. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, but you're just gonna shred this up like you would a pork butt or anything like that, and we'll make some tacos out of it. So we got all this pork belly shredded up here. Super easy cook. Make some wonderful, wonderful tacos out of it. Super easy on the Salt City Drum Smoker. You're gonna run it about 325 for about 2.5 hours unwrapped. And then you're gonna wrap it up with the wrap liquid that I showed you, a little Hay Grill Hay sweet rub, some apple juice, brown sugar, and agave. Let it ride for another 2 hours on the smoker until you get a nice butter feel in the pork belly with your Thermapen. So there you go. Some pork bellies for some pork belly tacos.